then you're going to quit watching.
And that's what's happening.
Okay, well, then people can quit watching. And by the way, at the end of the day, economics trumps everything. It trumps health.
That's
it
right,
trumps
it does.
everything.
Right.
And that, you know what? They'll take those names off the back of their jerseys, and they'll take Black Lives Matters off the court. You know, if enough people say, you know what, you just offend me, I don't want to think about.
I'm glad you brought this up. Economics. The owners are really playing with gasoline here, because it's very possible that there's more and more people that feel just like me. And if you want to ask me if I'm biased, the answer is yes. I think everyone has a bias toward people that look differently from themselves, or maybe go to different churches or live in different towns. I mean, I'm a biased person in that way. And the best I can do is talk about it on the radio, talk about it with other people. It's not like I'm trying to avoid the subject. I'm not. I'm asking for a little peace long enough to watch a sporting event. That's it. I mean, I think the point about racial injustice has been made since we've had this going on since George Floyd died in May. Not that should be forgotten. I can't get that video out of my head as much as I try. But it's time finally to do something a little bit different.
Well, then after that, you got Blake and Kenosha. I mean, and there are others that have occurred.
Blake and Kenosha?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have Blake and Kenosha. You have questionable shootings and killings of black people all over the country. What's that got to do with a football game?
It just goes right back to, well, listen, we had George Floyd in May. Let's forget it. Let's move on.
Let me
watch. You did. You just said, I want to watch sports. George Floyd was in May. I get it.
Excuse me. What I said was I can't get the video out of my head.
No, but you said since that plenty of time has passed, we've heard about it. Let's move on. That's what you said.
That's an unfair characterization of what I said. I said, no. You are flatly wrong in mischaracterizing what I'm saying.
Okay.
I said that I can't get that video out of George Floyd out of my head. And I said it's been going on all summer and into the fall now. It's time to change the tactics. The tactics of in your face all the time, every day, every single minute, are going to wear people out.
Well, you might be right.
And I believe that
you might be, both you guys might be right.
And I believe that Kansas City episode last night where the crowd booed is an indication of the change of mood in our country.
Well, I don't know that it's a change of mood at all.
We'll see what happens.
I don't think it's a change of mood at all. It goes back to when Kaepernick took a knee and the way the public reacted. There's been no change. The public has reacted the same way from day one, Mike. You know that.
Poor old Kaepernick. Wow, I feel so sorry for that for that guy.
Well, it's a complex issue, and we're as we said starting out, everybody's tired of this crap. We're tired. We want to get the election over and all this stuff, but you want to turn on TV and watch your favorite team play. And there's a lot of white people all over the country, and especially in Kansas City, that love Patrick Mahomes and a lot of those other players. It's a great unifying force, sports is. Yeah. It brings people together. But when you start throwing this stuff in people's face in sports, then that unity starts to fall apart.
That's right.
Just like we said when the crowd booed their own team. Mm-hmm. They booed their own team. That is not good for our country. It's not good for sports. That's why you need to leave politics and all this stuff out of sports. If Patrick Mahomes or anybody else wants to talk about the racism issue in our country, he's got a platform. You don't think he could get up in front of anybody right now and they'll listen to him. But just don't do it on the football field when we're trying to watch a football game.
I suppose
Patrick Mahomes said, I'll be downtown tonight talking about social issues. I want all you folks, you white America, come down and listen to me. You wouldn't get
the press would be there in a second.
Press maybe, but when Patrick Mahomes says, "Hey, listen,"
what kind of an argument is that?
Randy just said that everybody would come to listen to him. No, they wouldn't.
Invitations don't work, so you must be forced to watch something you don't want to in the name of my ideas. That's the thing. Okay, we're going to get off this because somehow talking about the St. Edmunds game last night is anticlimactic now. But
well, of course, you brought it up right out of the chute, as usual.
And you lost it right on cue.
No, I didn't. I can only listen to you for about...
What are you talking about?
You started it, and now I'm finishing it. Oh, no, you do that, Mike.
I think you're wondering...
You go off on your deal, you do, and then you go, oh, we don't want to talk about it anymore.
I'll just say it. I'll just end it this way is because I grew up with a lot of athletic heroes most of them were African American, from Walter Payton to Michael Jordan and on and on and on. And I have the utmost respect for those people. And I want sports to do that for all people in the United States, that we can celebrate sports. It shouldn't matter what the color of your skin is. You celebrate them. And I go back to my whole philosophy. I agree with Martin Luther King. Let's all just judge people based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin.
So
Totally agree.
Yeah.
It
So let's
doesn't
do that.
happen in American society is the point. The reason you admired these guys is because you loved the way Walter played the game, the way he carried a football, the way he performed athletically.
And he was a great role model
Well-
off the field as well.
And-
That's
but
why
did
they
you
call
know
it the
him?
Walton Payton Award.
He was. I get that. But really, the reason that you initially admire him and you know who he is because of his performance as a
Right.
football player.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So I should watch it bringing up these sensitive topics because I should understand you'll go nuts. Is that it?
no. But if you're going to bring him up, I'm just not going to listen to you passively and go, oh, you're right, Mike.
See,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
should do that though.
no,
now.
but I won't
You
do that.
should do that.
I
You should
can't
just-
do that.
You should just accept the truth.
Yeah.
Never gets wound up, doesn't he? He gets wound up.
Well, you know, I've got to hold 2 against 1 here, but I'm fine with that.
All right.
So,
All right. Well, I'll tell you, I was here by myself yesterday with several kids who, well, they were all wearing green. They were the St. Edmunds kids, and they were a bunch of really nice young men. I was impressed by them. They were really, God, that Brock Stanik's a big kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big boy. Does anybody know where he's going to school yet? I think I asked yesterday, but I don't
he
think
hasn't
he hasn't
it's
made it.
early for him to just, and yeah.
He's
No.
a senior though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that is Schaefer and Oswald and Lucina and all those kids, are they seniors?
They are.
Yeah.
No, I think the coach brought the seniors yesterday. Yeah, because so tonight we have the
Big game.
Dodgers big game.
Top
Lousy
10.
weather. You know, I didn't
Yeah.
go to the St. Edmund game last night because I just didn't want to sit out in the cold and the rain. Those kids apparently performed very well. Did you see the size of that kid that played for North Union? My God, that
The running back, he looked big. I
Big.
just saw his picture in the paper. He must be pretty legit.
250
Wow.
as a high school kid
Yeah.
up in Armstrong.
I tell you what, St. Ed's schedule shapes up. If they get by West Hancock next week, which is a big, that's a big challenge for them. But they have a very favorable schedule this year. And next week at West Hancock, that'll be their biggest game of the year, no doubt, until they get to the playoffs.
The thing that impresses me about the Gales is their balance. They're throwing the ball extremely well with the Schaefer kid, but they're also running the ball well too. So they've got a good balanced offense, and when you've got that, you're hard to defend. When you can run it and throw it.
You have multiple receivers too, multiple guys that can catch the ball and do something with it after they catch it, whether it's Oswald or Baker. They don't throw that much.
No.
And they're very, when they do throw it, generally it's for 50 yards or whatever. I mean, at least that's the end play is a 50-yard game.
But,
Jeff Stonick just texted me and said that Brock, his son, is waiting till after the season to decide which school, which I wouldn't blame him. It's still chaos. Just before, I'm going to set this up for the next segment because we got to go to a news break. But the Big Ten, a lot of the Big Ten people are hoping now that there can still be a season starting in October. Does anybody have, you and I, Randy, have been especially vocal about how badly the Big Ten handled this entire thing. So do you think that there's any hope that we will get a Big Ten season at all later in the year?
Boy, I don't know. I'll tell you what.
Not too many people are impressed with Kevin Warren right now.
Right now,
I'll tell you that.
the coaches are now starting to speak out and come out and say that the communication has just been absolutely incompetent, quite honestly. And I don't know. I don't know if they can get it off the ground. I mean, Iowa hasn't even been practicing. I don't even know how you could say we're going to start in October. That's only 3 weeks away or less. And Ohio State wants to do that because they're still trying to get into that national championship.
Right. They're
game.
the big dogs, see, and the big dogs now out there hunting in a big way. And they've got day out front saying, geez, I get no explanation. I get no information, which I thought was really odd. I mean, I felt like he's grandstanding. I got to believe Gene Smith's keeping him apprised of everything that's going on.
The athletic director for Ohio State.
Yes.
But I think he's saying that the Big Ten's not giving Ohio State any information.
I got to believe the
and
chancellor
and
the
Franklin
AD
at Franklin at Penn State said the same thing. He said the exact same thing. So you got Penn State's coach, you got Ohio State's coach out there, really, making the case that
for the very reason that you said. Day wants to play under any circumstances because it's one of the best teams he's ever had.
Right, exactly.
They were the preseason number 2 rated team.
Right.
He does not want to let that die on the vine. And one of their studs just declared today that he's going to go pro, so he won't play this year.
Why wouldn't he?
The offensive lineman that was an All-American.
Why wouldn't he, though? I mean, why wouldn't the players do something?
They are doing stuff like that. Many players are just saying, hey, late start, whatever. I'm not going to risk injury. I'll prepare for the draft.
Is that your phone dinging
That's
over
me,
there like
yeah.
that? Okay. All right. Yeah. Anyway, Nevin Mulholland and Randy Kuhlman, we're talking sports. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Michael Devine, the doctor of truth.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to confess?
That AM 1400 KVFD.
It's 4:30. The news is next.
When severe weather threatens, keep it here for the Severe Weather Advisor, brought to you by Riley Armstrong Plumbing and Heating. Plumbing emergencies don't usually happen during normal business hours, so Riley Armstrong is here for you 24/7. Call 955-2232. And the Fort Museum in Frontier Village, where history comes alive. Travel back in time and celebrate the heritage of Fort Dodge at the Fort Museum. Book your next special event at the Opera House, too. When severe weather threatens, stay with your friends on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
With your KVFD News Update, I'm Rob Jones. The Webster County Public Health Department has announced that their drive-through flu shot clinic that was scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed. Public Health says the vaccine shipment is behind schedule because of wildfires on the West Coast. Public Health says they plan to announce a new date for the clinic as soon as possible. Leah Glasgow, the CEO of Unity Point Health Fort Dodge, was a guest on Dodger Weekly on KVFD AM 1400. During that appearance, she talked about how her and her staff at Unity Point Fort Dodge has been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic.
The fact of the matter is we're still in the thick of it. We spend a lot of time day to day, even now, continuing to improve our processes.
Glasgow says a big part of how they've been able to handle the pandemic comes from their training.
Just before the pandemic really got started at the end of February, we had sent a team down in Anniston, Alabama for a week's training, train us on what they call incident command structures. And that is a system that we use to respond to large scale pandemics. Literally, our team went the end of February, and on March 6th, we opened our own incident command.
Glasgow, along with senior marketing communications specialist Alyssa Stonick and other members of the team from Unity Point Health Fort Dodge, will be appearing monthly on Dodger Weekly going forward. Good Shepherd Lutheran Church of Fort Dodge has announced that their rally that was scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed until September 26 due to inclement weather. In a special Thursday Night Lights presentation of high school football last night on Sunny 99.7, the St. Edmund Gales moved to 3-0, beating North Union 53-27. The Gales led 27-21 after 3 and would outscore the Warriors 26-6 in the fourth to pull away. St. Edmund quarterback Drew Shaper, 4 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing. Gales had 2 100-yard rushers in the game. Fullback Tyler Rossmanna, 20 carries for 120 yards, a rushing touchdown and a touchdown catch. Case Baker, 15 carries, 100 yards, and a rushing touchdown, and also had a pick 6 on defense. Parker Oswald, 6 catches for 142 yards and a score. Gale's defense allowed just 20 yards passing, while the offense rolled up over 500 total yards. For KVFD from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones.
This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. I'm Michael Devine. We'll get back to sports with Randy and Nevin here in just a couple of minutes. It's 57 degrees right now. There is a good chance of a thunderstorm into this evening. Our predicted high is 59 degrees. I kind of doubt that we're going to get there, though. Overnight, some thunderstorms once again. Cloudy with a low of 54. Tomorrow, a better chance of a thunderstorm, mainly in the afternoon, mostly cloudy with a high of 67. On Sunday, sunny with a high of 78. Look out. Monday, sunny with a high of 80. Now we're talking. Tuesday, sunny with a high of 83. Wednesday, sunny with a high of 84. And on Thursday, it'll be sunny with a high of 76. Right now, again, 57 degrees. Obituaries this hour brought to you by the historic Bruce Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue, South Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucesfuneralhome.com. Willie Ray Temple has died at the age of 22. Services are pending for Willie Ray Temple. Walter Delanoy has passed away at the age of 9. Mr. Walter R. Delanoy's service is tomorrow at 9:30 here in town. Obituaries this hour brought to you by the historic Bruce Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue, South Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucesfuneralhome.com. This is AM 1400 KBFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Did you know that 30% of all people who are prescribed an opioid get addicted in just 3 days? Addiction does not discriminate. Active Health reminds you, from high school athletes to business professionals, millennials to retirees, an addiction after an injury can strike anyone at any time. Active Health wants you to choose an alternative solution. Don't mask your injury or pain. Avoid the addiction and get to the source of the problem. Choose Active Health Clinics for your pain resolution. Live your best life, your whole life. Active Health Clinics, Fort Dodge.
Whether class is in school, at home, or a little bit of both,
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, and all at amazing prices.
From notebooks to lap desks, folders to noise-canceling headphones.
This week, Staples 2-pocket paper folders and 1-subject notebooks are an incredible 10 cents each. Now that's a back-to-school deal you don't want to miss.
Shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 9/12, limit 6, in-store only, while supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Time's running out to win $1,000 a day for life from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter at PCH.com and you and your family could soon be celebrating the win of a lifetime. Don't miss your chance to win $1,000 a day for life on October 31st. Go to PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter now at PCH.com. Entries due 10/28. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. Monica did, and that's how she found Lamont, her new project superintendent.
The job is so perfect for me. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Do you ever get tired of watching bad things happen to people?
Sticking up for you when no one else will.
Yes, we've already covered that, but I do get sick of watching bad things happen to good people. I tell you. We're talking sports today with Nevin Mulholland.
Well, we are getting back on sports.
Yeah, we're getting back on sports. Yeah. Nevin went crazy in the last segment. In case you, by the way, we do have this on video on my Facebook page, AM 1400 KBFD, on the Alpha Media website, or at my personal page, Michael Devine, last name Devine. Tune in; you can see how great looking I am. And Nevin and Randy are here as well.
I got a feeling I'm the only guy that agreed with me in the whole area, but that's fine.
No, we're all good here. We're all
good.
Right. So, great game by St. Edmund last night. We hope we look forward to them taking on West Hancock. I have a good feeling about that game for some reason. I've said that now, so I suppose they'll just be burned
Kiss
up.
of death.
Kiss of death, yeah. But anyway, Fort Dodge going up against Ankeny. It's not Centennial. Who are they going up against?
Ankeny High School.
Just Ankeny High School. They
Yeah.
have 3 high schools
Two.
there now, right?
Two.
They just have the 2.
They
And
may
Tom
get-
Kins went down.
He was at
to work-
Centennial.
Yeah, he went to Centennial. I think Tommy's retired now.
Yeah,
by the way.
he is. But Ankeny is they're an outstanding football team, and they've got a really good quarterback that's got offers from UNI and South Dakota State, I believe it is. They've got a wide receiver that's 3-star that's committed to Iowa that a lot of people wanted. Brecht, I think, is his name. And then
Though we don't know, I don't know that he's playing tonight.
yeah.
Is he?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's the other kid. Bruce is the one.
Bruce
is the one from Kansas City.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's the one set
Oh,
up.
that's right.
I think it's Brody Brecht, something like that. Yeah, he was highly recruited by Iowa State, I think Wisconsin, and he selected the Hawkeyes. He's 6'4", 195 pounds, and they throw the ball around.
6'4", 195, and just a kid.
Yeah.
He could be a big boy.
And so it'll be a good game. The Dodgers, of course, undefeated as well. I think the Dodgers are ranked 10th, and I think Ankeny is maybe 8th or something like that. But they got beat by
Waukee.
Yeah,
Kind of stunning. They
Yeah.
had that game under control and had it won. In fact, Waukee scored in the last 10 seconds
Oh,
of the
did they?
game, I think.
Is that how?
Yeah.
That is right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think they saw that coming.
Yeah. So it'll be a big game, and of course Deshaun Clayton with the Dodgers is having a phenomenal year. He's leading the state in rushing.
I hope that kid has a real bright future in front of him. My dear,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of talent.
You know, he's the Dodgers have been they're going to have to probably throw the ball a little bit more, and I mean people are going to really start keying on Clayton and making it tough. So they're going to have to diversify a little bit, but Nick Mosier is very capable of doing that. He's a very innovative coach, and he'll have the Dodgers ready for the.
Clayton gets 200 yards this week. He's the real deal.
Yeah,
because they, as Randy says, they will. I mean, you have to key on him. You got, if you're going to play Fort Dodge High now, it's pretty obvious you've got to stop the run and then find out how well they put the ball in the air. This is a real test for the Dodgers. You're going to find out who they are tonight.
Yeah.
Well, 354 yards in one game. Yeah, if I was
he's had 2 of those games. He's
I didn't run for that many yards in my entire career.
He's had 200,
starting in junior
300-yard games. I mean, it's amazing. But
yeah, so if I'm an opposing coach, I'm going to pick him up on that. Yeah, we should really do something.
We really should try.
and obviously the Dodgers have a pretty salty offensive line in front of them, because I don't care how good you are, you don't get 350 yards rushing unless people are blocking for you real well. And so
he does not go down on contact.
I bet he doesn't.
I've watched him on film and stuff.
And I'll tell you, he looks a lot bigger. If you see him without his pads on and just street clothes, he looks bigger than 220 also. He's a big kid. Yeah.
Do we have a passing game at Fort Dodge Senior High this year? We've had some great receivers.
I think
Mosley
they do.
was great.
Yeah,
Drew Miller.
They haven't had to pass.
The quarterback is young, and they lost their quarterback and all their receivers last year pretty much. So they've been relying very heavily on Clayton, but I'm sure they're going to open it up because they're going to have to, and they probably are capable of doing that. But it'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out, because evidently, according to Nick Mosier in the paper today, he's really impressed with the linebackers that Centennial or that Ankeny has, and they'll be keen on Clayton for sure.
They will.
Yeah. So
that game's in town, right?
It's here tonight, and you had to go pick up they're kind of limiting the seating capacity to 2,200 people.
This is what I mean. We got to get through this year and on to something else.
So
it's a CIM rule.
So they'll you had to pick up a
voucher,
a voucher, right? And
did you get one?
I did get one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go.
Did they all go?
I don't know. I don't know if they're all gone yet or not. But
can we get Mike in there with his press credentials?
Yeah,
well, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I have them, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But no, I don't misunderstand me. I fully support the restrictions on COVID. It's a deadly thing and deadly disease, and somehow it didn't bring me into focus until I heard Jimmy Kesterson was so sick. But I'm glad to see he's recovered. But God, the guy was on oxygen for a while, and I mean that kind of brings a little closer to home when people start getting it and get very sick. Because Jim was the life of the party always.
I think that's really the deal, though. Until it hits so close to home, you don't appreciate how serious it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of all of us throughout the country. I mean, you just don't, because so many people contract it and with mild symptoms, but can be very
it's a very
serious.
Unpredictable disease. It really is. But the first home game we had, they had a really good crowd, and I know the officials, not the football officials, but the school officials were concerned, public health officials, because there was a lot of people were kind of packed in and they weren't wearing the masks, and so they're asking everybody to wear masks tonight, and they are limiting the crowd. So
I still want to take issue with the University of Iowa canceling the swimming program. What's going on with it? David Feerick's son, and who's the Hartley, yeah. Local people. I mean, they dedicated themselves to their own home state and one of the great universities in their own home state. And this is what happens.
It's a proud program too. I mean, it's been around forever, and
they're ranked.
Yeah, and it's a terrific facility.
Our tennis team is ranked.
It's just I don't know what you do with you put that kind of money into a facility like that. And I was surprised it's 10 years old. Is that
I'm
right?
telling you, it goes back to that decision. We're not playing football. We're playing football. They're still having that
Harold.
Swimming team.
Bruce Harold, I think, is panicking a little bit down there with some of these decisions. He sounds like he's moving way too fast. I mean, he could have canceled the season, and I might have been on his side. But to cancel the program completely,
he didn't do it. Barta did.
Okay, Barta, whoever.
With Harold's blessing, I'm
sure.
Well,
Harold's blessing, but Barta's the guy that's making those calls, and Harold voted to play football. To his defense.
Yeah,
but he was one of 3 presidents that voted. Let's play in the fall.
You don't cut a program without your president's support.
Yeah, I was going to say
you just don't.
Barta didn't.
Yeah, that wasn't, and I'm sure.
Well, but
Harold probably charged him with, "Hey, we got to figure out how to budget, how we're going to do our.
We're going $100 million deficit,
right?
I mean, and every sport at Iowa except men's basketball and men's football loses money.
You can just about say that about every university.
Exactly.
Every university.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
in times of COVID or not.
That is what it is.
It is, and so that's the consequence of these these kind of things, and you get this, Minnesota cut 4. They cut their men's and women's track program.
Right.
Oh man.
I mean,
that's insane.
And that's both track and cross country, as I recall.
Probably, but
there's no way we're going to have wrestling this year if this keeps up. They're talking about a vaccine in the end of the year or something, and I hope that that happens. But if this continues, wrestling's out for the year. That's for sure.
You know what though?
I don't know.
Here's the one thing about what I'm this whole rapid testing. Nebraska just went in conjunction with the University of Nebraska Med Center. They have purchased, one of these machines that they'll have at their stadium that the most advanced rapid testing mechanism known to man. Wow. And so you can get test results immediately. And I think you're going to see a lot of schools going to that. I think that's that could be a game changer.
Yeah. The thing about wrestling, it's a one-on-one sport. So you could test both wrestlers before they wrestle.
That's what I'm thinking.
But football, when you got so many people playing, it's a different animal. Same with basketball in a little smaller level, but wrestling is one-on-one. Test the 2 wrestlers and let them go out and wrestle.
Well, and there's how many guys on the team? 10 or
12? 10 or 11, something like that.
So they may be able to actually figure that out.
Yeah.
I don't know. How many sports are that intense? How many sports insist on having 2 athletes in that close together? I mean, their heads are pressed against each other.
Well, there's no doubt that but if they're virus free, right, and if you can test and the test is reliable,
right,
and that you can rely on it at the time that individual doesn't have the virus, I do it. I think it's a go.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
And so far, I mean, we'll have to see how things progress. Of course, the NBA is playing in a bubble, and it seems to be working there. And we'll see with pro football. But I'll tell you, I was amazed last night for 2 teams that had no preseason games, how well they played,
it looked good,
how well they executed. It was,
and I other than the minute you guys are all, I thought though during the game, I didn't really notice that there was just such a small crowd.
Right.
You know, it didn't catch my attention very often.
Yeah. And I think they're planning on, most stadiums are going to be empty. And I think the TV stations or the networks are planning on pumping in crowd noise for television.
And I'm curious what Iowa State will do tomorrow at Ames.
Right.
Whether they pump in crowd noise at the game.
Oh, I don't know.
Can they do that?
I don't know. I haven't heard that. I just heard the TV people.
I'm telling you what, if anybody would, it'd be Pollard. I mean, he's pretty.
I did hear the marching band's going to be there.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, you got to get something going, some energy.
Yeah, you do.
And he's innovative.
I mean, there's nothing better than football in the fall and the band and everybody singing.
Yep. Well, how about that game coming up tomorrow? I tell you what, it could be one of the best openers on the day.
Yeah.
College football game. It sounds like Louisiana's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Give State's got the best team they've had forever.
I got to get this in, though. The Des Moines Register did report that Iowa will give all their football coaches a raise while cutting the swimming program. Now, how does that make any sense?
It didn't go over well down in Iowa City.
Yeah, it didn't.
It didn't. And I mean, the timing was
Is that
the
BARDA?
announcement.
Is that BARDA?
Well, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know how you can avoid it because they already had the contracts
But
in place.
They're also, the pay raise is being implemented, but then then they're taking a 15% pay cut. So they're not going to get the pay raise.
You know who's one of the guys who got a big pay raise was and now makes
Brian Ferentz.
$890,000 a year. That would be Brian Ferentz.
Just walk through that. Look at what those assistant coaches are
they're making big money.
making. Parker, I think, is over 900,000. It's insane. I was stunned by how well these assistant coaches are being paid. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's in the last 10 years, because the head coaches always were making big money and the assistants were kind of, in that $100,000 range. Now in the last 10 years, they've really shot up.
Parker, 890, Brian Ferentz, 860. And we all know what Kirk's making, right?
Yeah.
4.8 million.
Mike, they're all making that. That's not an Iowa thing. I mean, you look at every big team, go to Ohio State's program, find out what they're paying their assistant
But
coach.
Ohio State's always in the running for a national championship. We're always wondering if we can beat Western Michigan.
What are you talking about? For God's sakes.
I always forget this is his hot button. I shouldn't have
That's
brought this
right.
up.
I mean, I'm just sitting here
Who did we beat last December in the Holiday Bowl?
Who did we beat?
Some poor middle class school by the name of USC.
Oh, them? Well, they're hardly the team of O.J. Simpson and in that era.
Well, still, I mean,
Reggie Bush wasn't on that team.
How about LSU with Nick Saban? How about Florida? I mean, you look at some of the wins.
LSU and Nick Saban. Saban's won the national title 7 times.
Yeah, and Iowa beat them. Iowa beat LSU when Nick Saban was the coach. Kirk Ferentz did. Iowa beat Florida. Iowa has beaten Georgia Tech, clobbered them in the Orange Bowl, but yet Kirk Ferentz is worthless. I mean, I don't get it. I mean,
can we talk baseball now?
No one cares about baseball.
Here's what I'll say about Iowa.
No one cares about baseball.
Well,
We're
we
missing
do.
some
We do.
great baseball.
I really think Iowa's been recruiting better lately too. By the way, I'm real.
Yes,
they have upgraded their recruiting. I think some of that is some of the new assistant coaches they brought in.
I agree.
And they have really upped their game. Before, I always thought they made a lot with less, but now I see them starting to win some of these recruiting battles, and so I'd be interested. I think Ferentz does a hell of a job, and I think Mike, you get rid of Ferentz, look out. I not that somebody couldn't replace him that'd be as good or better, but that's always so difficult. I mean,
and this isn't. I was showing this to Nevin on the break, but I got a thing off the internet today on the teams that have players in NFL currently, and Iowa is tied for 12th in the nation for the number of players that are currently in the NFL.
I bet they're mostly linemen, right?
Well, there's a lot of linemen, a few tight ends.
That's
so
where
what?
That's where Ferentz started.
Right.
I mean, he was a lineman himself.
We have more players.
Linebacker. I think.
Iowa has more players in the NFL than, get this, Texas A&M, Auburn, Texas, UCLA, Wisconsin. Southern
cheeseheads,
Southern
really.
California. Go on down. It's huge. I mean, so when you talk about recruiting, it's now we're getting back to Doyle again.
Well, no, and I think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think they're going to feel a little pain. I'm not saying they should have
I
not
know.
done what they did, but I
Yeah.
think they'll feel some pain with that because
They could.
Iowa, more than any other school that I'm really aware of, is done such a great job developing 2 and 3 stars into pros.
Right.
Well, you brought up the Holiday Bowl. You do remember Reggie Bush's reaction after the Holiday Bowl, don't you?
I didn't bring up the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah, Randy did.
Oh, okay.
You do remember Bush's reaction, don't you?
No, but
He turned to one of his fellow Southern Cal players and says, I don't know how you feel about sitting here watching our team get beat by Iowa.
so yeah, and that's fine with me because I absolutely have no respect for Reggie Bush or what he thinks.
Oh,
believe me.
he's just another one of those guys that made a porno with Kim Kardashian.
There you go.
Actually, you know what? He said that you're talking about recently when he was in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just last year or
Right.
whatever
Last year,
during the
yeah.
Southern Cal game. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm with you now.
All right. Okay. So
Let's talk baseball.
Well, we can talk baseball because I'm seeing some great baseball on TV, by the way. And I'm also watching the Lakers cruise right by the Rockets, which is a surprise to me,
Well,
really.
you might want to watch tonight.
You think so?
Toronto, Boston should be just terrific.
Okay.
Game 7.
It's tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like at 8:00. But I was going to say the Cubs. We got our hands full down the stretch here. I happened to look. We're done with the Cardinals, and by the way, we were even on that series. But we got left, I think, a 3-game series with the White Sox and a 3-game series with the Twins. Whoever would have thought that the American League
Yeah.
Central Division is not where you want to be, but it's not. That is one of the better divisions.
It is.
And those are 2 of the better teams
right.
in the American League and maybe in baseball right
That's
now.
right.
It is.
Yeah.
There
So
is
we
no doubt.
got our hands full here.
I even
And
catch myself.
Cleveland, 2 games with Cleveland.
I found myself watching a lot of Twins this year for that reason. I sit there and go, who are these guys, first of all? And they're just playing way at a very, very high level. I predict right now, this might be the kiss of death, the Lakers are going to take the NBA title. Is there any doubt with you guys?
Oh, I have doubt.
I have
Yeah.
doubts.
Who do you
Yeah.
think? Who do you think is a possibility to take the title?
Clips.
You think so? The Clippers? You
I think
so?
Clips could get the
They,
Lakers.
they have some good players. I mean, they have Kawhi,
Yeah.
who's a great player.
He's been really good down the
Yeah.
stretch.
Right.
He's really playing well.
Yeah.
This guy's a warrior, and he's a gamer, and most importantly, he's a winner. He's a winner. Kawhi Leonard is. I mean, everywhere he's gone,
Oh,
he's
yes.
won.
Yes.
And it hasn't been like he's playing with LeBron or
I was going to
Right.
say he can put Kawhi can put the team on his back, but when the team is the Lakers and they have all that talent over there with Anthony Davis and LeBron and they're
that will be a very good series.
oh yeah,
And won't Kawhi guard LeBron?
will he? Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Oh yeah.
I would think so.
Which will be really entertaining.
Yeah. that's-
That'll be good TV.
both of them are so competitive.
Well, they're
so
both
competitive.
strong.
Strong.
The hands. I mean, they both can guard. I mean, it will be, and they both know that they're on center stage in that game. They're
Well,
critical to each
right.
other's team success.
LeBron-
Anthony Davis, though, may also be just as critical. So but
LeBron James is from another planet. That guy is just. I mean, he's late in his career now, but he doesn't really show it. I mean,
I don't know
he
how
can
they
still drop back with that 30-footer, and it's really impressive. He's and he's huge.
huge.
He's just a huge man, and he could have started in the NFL or any other number of sports. But
I'm rooting against them.
well,
I'm tired of
don't
the
give- don't-
I'm tired of the NBA going out and buying their championships. That's
Well-
what the Lakers have done. And quite honestly, Golden State didn't really do that until they brought in Durant. But before that, they had built a really good team.
They totally built it by the draft.
right,
The Lakers, no, not at all.
right.
The Clips, not really either.
That's right. Yeah,
Toronto, you want to cheer for a team that's done it the right way. If that's you, there's your team.
right.
And so is Boston. They've made trades, but
Yeah.
they built it by the draft too. And the best thing Boston did to me that changed this whole team is getting Kemba Walker, who was
Yes,
in
he's been huge for 'em.
basketball purgatory for the last.
And
I
they
don't know
got
how
rid of
many
Irving.
years.
They got rid of Irving and brought in Kemba.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a huge upgrade in
Yeah.
my book. But Kemba, nobody even knew he's in the NBA. He's down at Charlotte. That's
Right.
where players go to die. And he's
Yeah.
that good. He really is.
All right. Are we going to predict? Well, we better not predict the Dodgers game.
I'll predict it. I'm going to predict the Dodgers win in a close one tonight.
Close one. How about you, Nevin?
Register's got Ankeny, I think, beating them. I'll go with the Dodgers. Yeah.
Well,
got to go with hometown boys.
That's right.
The Register is always going to pick Ankeny or somebody from their area, the CIML. They have some kind of thing against Fort Dodge down there.
I don't know. They've been giving Clayton a lot of love.
And the team a lot of love.
Yeah.
They're rating them. And but how do you ignore
Dyson
Clayton?
That's true.
It's
by the way, this guy from Fort Dodge gained over 300 yards in the last
He's got 700 yards in 2 games. But, that's insane. That's like pinball numbers. That's just.
Who are Mosier's assistants this year?
Oh, he's got
Dan Adams.
and
Danny.
I'm drawing a blank now, but it's just pretty much the same staff that they had last year under Matt. But
all right, go out to the Dodger game if you can. We've had it on the radio. I just can't remember which station. Nevin Mulholland, Randy Kuhlman, thank you for being here. Great sports show. 5:00 in the afternoon. This is KVFD Fort Dodge Island.
Straight talk on life and money. This is the Dave Ramsey Show on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400, KVFD, Fort Dodge.
Another step toward Middle East peace. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Days after helping broker the deal with the UAE, President Trump announcing a deal between Israel and another nation.
President Trump in the Oval Office announcing that Israel and Bahrain have agreed to normalize diplomatic relations.
They will exchange embassies and ambassadors, begin direct flights between their countries, and launch cooperation initiatives across a broad range of sectors, including health, business, technology, education, security, and agriculture.
Today's announcement comes after a similar deal between the United Arab Emirates and Israel, also brokered by the U.S., was unveiled last month. In Washington, John Decker, Fox News.
On this 19th anniversary of the September 11 terrorist attacks, President Trump presented the Medal of Honor to a member of the Army's Delta Force.
Please join me in welcoming today's extraordinary recipient, Sergeant Major Thomas Patrick Payne. Congratulations.
Payne helped save 75 people during a raid in northern Iraq in an ISIS prison in 2015. He's the first living soldier to receive the honor for actions carried out while a member of Delta Force. Earlier today, the president spoke at the 9/11 memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Joe Biden was also there. Vice President Pence was at ceremonies in New York. Defense Secretary Mark Esper led the ceremony at the Pentagon. Wildfires continue to rage in California and the Pacific Northwest, but the Department of Forestry and Fire Protection in California says weather conditions are improving, allowing crews to gain ground. At least 19 people in California have died in the fires. At least 4 have died in Oregon, but Governor Kate Brown says dozens are missing. Wall Street at the close, the Dow gained 131 points. The NASDAQ lost 66. The S&P gained about a point. America is listening to Fox News.
Hello, Mr. Crane. I'm calling about today's appointment. The tree is scheduled to fall on your RV at 2:14 today.
Any way we can reschedule? We're really enjoying our trip.
Oh, I'm sorry, but that's our only opening.
Can it just be a little tree?
Let me check. No, sorry. Our file says it's a huge one.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
Is it 2:14 p.m. or a.m.?
I'm not sure. Can I put you on a brief hold?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
So who is your wireless provider? AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile? The average person is saving $400 a year by switching to Pure Talk USA. Pure Talk is on the same network, same towers, just 50% off in terms of price. Right now, get unlimited talk, text, and 2 gigs of data for just $20 a month. Switch to Pure Talk today. Now, from your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Pure Radio. That's pound 250, Pure Radio, Pure Talk USA. Simply
your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
With your KVFD news update, I'm Rob Jones. The Webster County Public Health Department has announced that their drive-through flu shot clinic that was scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed. Public Health says the vaccine shipment is behind schedule because of wildfires on the West Coast. Public Health says they plan to announce a new date for the clinic as soon as possible. Leah Glasgow, the CEO of Unity Point Health Fort Dodge, was a guest on Dodger Weekly on KVFD AM 1400. During that appearance, she talked about how her and her staff at Unity Point Fort Dodge has been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic.
The fact of the matter is we're still in the thick of it. We spend a lot of time day to day, even now, continuing to improve our processes.
Glasgow says a big part of how they've been able to handle the pandemic comes from their training.
Just before the pandemic really got started, at the end of